Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm just going to discuss the importance of training. So number one reason is your dogs need mental stimulation. The best way to mentally stimulate them is to train them. And it just so happens that it has a benefit that you get an obedient dog out of that mental stimulation, which is a win-win in my opinion. The second reason, especially for Havanese, it's a form of bonding. You bond with your Havi, and Havanese are really eager to please, so when you spend that time training them and you get to praise them because they've done something correctly, it's just a really good bonding experience for the dog and for you out of this training time. The other thing is it takes 10 minutes a day, honestly. You know, you just work on a couple things 10 minutes a day and you and your Havanese benefit so much from that. It's something worth taking the time out to do. The other reason is you get an obedient dog, like I mentioned earlier. I don't know anybody who doesn't want an obedient dog. That doesn't mean your dog's not gonna still have some sass, have their personality. They're definitely gonna have that, but they'll be obedient when you need them to do and behave at certain commands that you're giving them. And again, because it's a mental stimulation in them, it gets them tired. They get to work their brain, they get to work on being obedient and maybe learning new commands along the way. It works them, it works out their brain, and they get tired and they want to rest more because they do that little bit of training once a day. A really important reason is because it prevents a dog from having like anxiety, like destructive chewing. Training and working with them daily prevents that because you work with them so much as you get them to be obedient to whatever it is that you're commanding them to do. You end up with a more obedient dog and one that's less likely to have anxiety or destructive chewing. They understand how to better please their humans. Again, Havanese are eager to please. And then I'm just going to discuss a few of the items that you'll need for training. The things that we use, obviously you'll need a collar. So I have a collar, and you want a little bit of a thicker collar. Especially for puppies, if you're training a dog that has a tendency to pull, you want to use a collar. And you want to use a little bit of a thicker collar. It's about an inch thick, so it's a pretty thick collar, so if they pull against it, it's less likely for them to do the because they don't pull against their trachea as much because there's a lot more surface area. So you want to use a collar that has a thicker bend. This is meant for a bigger dog, and we've just trimmed it down on the edge. We don't use harnesses. I don't recommend using harnesses. When you look at dogs that wear harnesses for other reasons, usually they're pulling something. So harnesses actually encourage pulling. So if you have a dog that's struggling with pulling, you definitely want to use a regular collar. And that's going to kind of put a little bit of tension on them. And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to do that anymore. The other thing, obviously, that you'll need is a leash. Now, we use a leather leash. One, it's just softer in my hand. It's easier for me to handle myself. And then it has a little bit of a different weight than you'll find with like just a regular old nylon leash. It just gives it a different weight to the dog. They can kind of feel it a little bit more than just a regular nylon leash. I have a 6-foot leash. That way I have plenty of room if I need to give them slack for any reason. The other one that I use is a slip lead. I use this one depending on what we're doing. If I need to take it off and put it back on frequently, especially when we're working with stuff that I don't use a leash on, it just makes it a lot easier. My dogs don't wear a collar all the time. They only wear a collar when we're working on trainings. I find that they don't really care for it, so we kind of give them a break when they're just inside the house. And then the other thing you'll need is, I have this long nylon. You can see how many times it's rolled up here. So it's a really long cord. So when I'm working on long distances, I have this. And then when I give the command, I can kind of pull them and encourage them so I can practice further and further distances. And the other thing is, this doesn't really matter what you use, but you need some type of a rod. It can be a stick, whatever it is that you want to use. We use this for the hold. You'll need something like this, some type of object for them to hold. These are the items that I use. This is kind of what I use on a daily basis to work with. These are the items you'll see in the videos that I'm gonna post soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all your comments. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. There's only more videos to come, more training videos, grooming videos, and just plain cute videos. Until next time.